Doodlebud here. Today we're talking about fake pens. Sometimes you call them copycat pens, replica pens, whatever it is you want to call them. But pens that look a lot like some other very popular pens. Are they good? Are they bad? What are my thoughts on them? I'll definitely give you some perspective and some ideas. I hear this topic being debated a bunch. So, well, let's just jump right into it. As I grab a very popular and famous pen, a Montblanc 149, first I want to say having designs copied isn't something that's unique to just fountain pens. Okay, it happens everywhere. Our cell phones, whatever phone you're probably watching this through, kind of looks like what iPhones came out with. There was a bunch of different smartphone designs that came out. The market really settled on we like what iPhones look like, and they become very popular. Well, guess what everyone else did? They started making their phones look like iPhones, and because that was the popular design. Think about something as simple as your tires. I'm getting my winter tires put on. The V-groove tires. I don't know who first came out with that to disperse the water out of the groove. Let's say it was Goodyear. It became popular. Guess what? Every manufacturer has a tire with a tire tread similar to that. So it's no wonder when something becomes popular and successful in the marketplace, other companies want to do that too because it just makes sense if it's working. So here's a pen that retails currently, depending what currency and where you're buying it, but $800 to $1,000 brand new. This one looks kind of like it. I don't know. It's like $7. Don't be surprised that this happens, right? Are these pens? Is it terrible that this happens? That these things are, the manufacturers go out and make a low price version of a pen that looks very, very, very much like an extremely popular pen. You know what? I really don't think so. One, it happens everywhere. Two, it makes something that's very, very expensive accessible to people who can't afford it. Now, look, I don't like when it's a copy, when it's a fake, a replica, or a knockoff, whatever you want to call it. Ones where if you buy one of these pens and it says Montblanc on it and they're trying to dupe you, they're trying to screw you out of way more money. And you're buying a pen that really costs maybe $10 or $20, but you think it's the real deal. I don't agree with that practice whatsoever. But Jinhao clearly puts on here Jinhao X159. So right away, it's not a Montblanc 149. Now, my opinion on this topic has changed. Before, I thought this was get your own designs. Well, but then I started thinking about it and go, well, this happens everywhere else too. So if you're maybe you're thinking you want to buy this pen, but you would like to try before you buy, and maybe you don't have the luxury to go into a store for $7 or $8, whatever these things cost, you can buy one, get it, play around with it, and I hope it's not going to be nearly the same quality. They look real close, but you feel one, it's very, very different. But for this price, the pen works great. For the folks who are never going to even come close to spending that money, who cares? They're not losing out on business. They were never going to buy anyway, so they can get a pen that looks like it and enjoy it. Or if you are thinking of buying one, now I did not. I think that's still way too much money. I got mine secondhand, so what I felt was a good price. But had this pen been available before I took the plunge, I probably would have bought it just to try it out and go, I do like the size of that. I know this isn't super well made, but I like the looks of it and the feel of it. Time to go for the big boy, and you buy the thing. So in that case, the replica pen, the fake, the copy, whatever you want to call it, helped Montblanc get a customer. Same thing over here. This is the Majohn A1. It looks an awful lot like the Pilot Vanishing Point. I thought about getting a Vanishing Point. It sounded like a good idea, but it didn't appeal to me enough. I just didn't think I would like it. And so I never bought one. It was too much for me to play an experiment with. But this thing came along and it was like $35. And I thought, I think this is the way to find out if I really want one or not. I get one, I try, I absolutely love it. I get a few more, love them all, and go, okay, and then I buy the real deal. So, hey, in that case, it helped. It helped Pilot get a customer. If it wasn't for this tryout version, and I got to play with it for a bit. It's one thing to try a pen at a pen meet or something like that. Or, you get to try one in a store. That helps tremendously with purchasing a pen. But sometimes you'd like to have like a long trial. These pens are good at that. You can have them for as long as you want and try them out and test drive them. Sometimes you need like a day. Sometimes you want to try it for a month. and then you'll know whether you like it or not. In this case, it didn't take me very long, and I ended up getting the real deal. This is surprisingly good for the price. It's very close to what this is. This is better, but it's great that these make it accessible for people who will never pay that kind of money, and for someone like me who wanted to try before you buy. This right here is a very special pen to me. This is an Omas 360. I heard about them. I've seen pictures of them. And then at one of the Vancouver Pen Club meets, somebody had one. And I was like, can I try that out? And they let me try it out. And right away I went, yes. It confirmed all the hopes I had. And I knew I had to acquire one at some time. Now there's ones like this that go for like $1,500 or more with beautiful celluloids, or there's one, I think it's called the Cracked Ice or something like that. That is the most beautiful one I've ever seen. Those things are mega expensive. But the super cool Maya Furlong from the Vancouver Pen Club knows I've been drooling on one of these. And before I got this, she gave this to me as a little gift. This, I mean, obviously, we're not confusing it. You couldn't really even accuse them of ripping it off, but there really is no other triangular pens out there. There really isn't. And so, you know, you can tell it's not the same thing. But it was sort of like, hey, play with the little dinky toy until one day you get the big one, right? And so I knew this was not going to feel like a 360 or write like a 360. I knew that. But it's sort of, I don't know, something you'll look at, you bring in the drawer, and like one day I'm going to have the real deal. So this pen here sort of kept me, allowed me to keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak. I would just, maybe imagine this is the real one, or you really think about, am I going to like a triangular grip or whatever it is? But this pen did inspire me. And over a course of a very long time and losing many auctions and other stuff like that, I found a pen in the condition I wanted, with the nib I wanted, and for the price I thought was fair. And here we go today. Some say the Pilot 823 is like the best pen that's out there right now. Best kind of modern pen. It just performs great. It's so well made, and everyone has to have one. And I could see that standpoint. The pen is made fantastically. Everything works on it. It is weird. I was a little disappointed in my nib. I got the fine nib, and it could just be it didn't write the way I expected. I wasn't anticipating how this fine nib was going to write. Although I have other Japanese 14 karat Pilot fine nibs, they write blissfully, wonderfully. I wish this nib wrote as nice as my Pilot Elite, or even my Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib. This one just has too much tooth. I've messed with it. It's better, but I was a little disappointed with the nib, but I think that's a one-off, or else I should have got this in a medium. But the pen is really nice. It feels great in the hand, all sorts of stuff. It functions, and I think it's mega popular as well. This is probably one of the best-selling sort of gold nib pens that's out there. Again, it's expensive. So here is the WingSung 699. I've done a deep dive comparison. You can check that out. I got into the details just so you see what you're getting, what you are getting and what you're not getting for that price differential. You got to decide if it's up to you. But for whatever this pen costs, I don't know, $30 to $40, something like that, you're getting a pretty decent, well-made pen. It's, again, it's kind of like the Montblanc there as well. You pick it up, you feel the difference right away. You know this is made much nicer. But all in all, you're getting a decent pen. It was interesting to see all the little tiny cost-saving measures. And by the way, for everyone saying, oh, they just get to copy their stuff and save all the costs, you still have to make all the molds. You don't break into the Pilot factory and get to steal all their molds and equipment and learning, the injection details and just getting all that stuff right in the assembly. You don't get to do that. You copy the design, but you still have to go through all the manufacturing, which is a ton of work. And then what you have to do is take the appropriate steps to cut costs and go from, let's say, $300 to $30 and still deliver a decent product. It's actually a lot of work to do that. It's surprisingly hard, because the challenge is you could cut one too many corners too sharply, and now all of a sudden you have a really bad product. And that happens everywhere. And so on here, I feel they cut the corners the right ones, buy the right amount, and still deliver a pretty decent pen. There's some stuff in here that's not as nice. Absolutely, you are making sacrifices. Like it's nowhere going to be near the quality. But the sacrifices they chose to make in the design, assembly, manufacturing, they chose them wisely, and you wind up with a pretty decent little pen. Here we have an Asvine pen that was recently sent to me, and my very first Leonardo. And of course, they're, fairly similar in design and shape. Great little pen. This is shockingly good for the price. And it even has a piston filler on here too. And it is amazing sometimes how good of a job you can do for significantly less money. The price cut isn't as drastic as the 30 to 300, but still, I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts on this pen with everybody. They did a fantastic job. But of course, probably one of the most common pens you see that is kind of replicated or is copied in design, the Parker 51. And the reason for that is this is, probably the most popular pen ever made. Well, fountain pen at least ever made. We could debate that, but it's going to be up on the top anyways. So it kind of makes sense. I guess the other one would be the Lamy Safari, and that's probably the first most or second most pen that's copied. It'd probably be between this, the Parker 51, and a Lamy Safari. But that's what you're going to do. If someone makes a total banger of a product that everyone buys, becomes very iconic and popular, guess what everyone else is going to do? They're going to, use your design. And they want some of that action as well. And so this pen is made very well. They even called it the Queen's pen. Apparently Queen Elizabeth had it in her purse all time. I think hers was burgundy or something like that with a gold cap. But great pen. Timeless, iconic. Of course, Jinhao will make one. There's a ton of other ones that are made. WingSung. There's tons of people that make these. $5 or $6. Looks like it. Doesn't feel like it. I pointed out some things on here that are off a bit. But again, if you're not interested in shelling out the cash for it, or you love these, but you're not comfortable maybe taking it out of the house or out of the office or going on a flight, you don't want it to get damaged or broken or lost or something like that, you can pick these up, pretty El Cheapo, and get sort of the same experience of one of your most favorite pens there is. And if you should lose it or forget it or it gets broken or stolen when you're taking it out of the office or away from the home or on a trip, you don't really care. You're like, oh, thank God it wasn't my original Parker 51 that I love and cherish. So there's a lot of function I find in pens that do take a significant amount of the design inspiration of, they take it onto their own and produce pens. I do wish there was more innovation, but honestly, fountain pens have been around for well over 100 years. How much can you do? It's surprising the amount of stuff that comes out. And this practice of copying a very successful design or product isn't new. It happens everywhere. So don't be surprised. It's going to happen with fountain pens as well. The last example I'll go through is with this lovely little pen. This is the Jinhao 82. And it looks very much like a very popular pen made by another company called Sailor, and their little Pro Gear pens that they have. Those are fantastic pens, highly collectible, very successful, all sorts of beautiful colors they come out with. And no surprise, it was, that design was taken some liberties with by another company, and they made a pen that looked very, very similar to it. I think they did a great job. This sells for, I don't know, it's like $5, $6, $7, $8, somewhere in that range. And this is a great pen to be your very first pen, to give to someone as their first pen, or to collect as well. The Pro Gear Slims, they're kind of pricey. They do come with gold nibs. They're made spectacularly well. I've even gifted one to somebody. I've written with them. I think they're fantastic and well made. But at least for me, I didn't connect with the pen a ton. It didn't really resonate with me a whole bunch. I know some people have all the colors and collect them all and they just absolutely adore them. That's awesome. For me, I didn't have that feeling with it. And for the price, I felt it's a bit high for what I'm getting. Maybe that's what it was. There's other pens around that price that I feel I get more of what I'm looking for that price. But again, that's personal opinion. However, for this little dude, I think you're getting one heck of a pen for that price. So I keep one of these around. I have it in my bag. I just finished cleaning it. But normally it's always inked. And it just works great in a pinch if I can't find my other pens, or just I need a little extra fine nib. This has a nice little extra fine nib, and it just performs well. Away you go, put in your pocket, all that stuff. This is also just different color I reviewed. I gave that pen to somebody else as their first pen, and they love the little thing, and they want to get some more other fountain pens. So I pen-abled somebody with a Jinhao 82, and I think it's a great pen for that. Sailor's not going to lose a customer with me, because I like the Pro Gears, but just not a bunch. I had really no plan on ever buying one. I will keep probably just one of these. I'm not going to collect them all and all the beautiful colors. You can do that if you like. I will always probably have one with me, either to give away or just to have as a little candy kicking little pen that's around there. But that's all I want out of the pen. I don't want to collect them and get the gold nib isn't important to me. Just how for some folks, getting an X159, it's, you might really like it. You might not feel intrigued enough to go out and spend the money to get a Montblanc 149, and that's totally cool as well. So, because I understand that I'm in the same boat with this pen. Great little pen, but I'm not now yearning to go get the proper version that's several times more. I think it's better to find that out by spending $6, $8, $40 versus hundreds of dollars. I think it's better to find out with a few bucks instead of get disappointed on the back end. So I think that's one of the purposes that pens that look like other ones, that's the purpose they can serve, and also just make it more accessible to everyone, which I think is great, because some people will love it and then go buy the real deal, like I've done with a bunch of other pens here on the desk. I know not everyone's going to agree with my opinion. That's no problem. I don't expect you to. Feel free to leave yours down there. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't, there's that button over there. Just press it already. We'll talk soon and catch you next time.